When you see an artist perform on stage, you think that you really know who they are. There's always more to the story behind the music. My name is Kristy Jackson. Today I will sit down with Robert Nelson, jazz enthusiast and performer.
I stay sitting back comfortable.
Okay. And just be ready for the part where I jump up and do the R. Kelly.
What? The what?
The R. Kelly.
What's that? Oh!
I gave y'all 30 years of my life. Y'all trying to do this to me.
Robert, right.
Do this to me.
Do this to me. Right. So, Robert, that does take me to my first question.
Okay.
Like you said, 30 years, right? We talk about R. Kelly in jest.
Yes.
But how long have you been Robert Nelson, the professional, the singer? Like, we'll talk about the singer.
Okay.
But I know you have history before you became a singer, right? So what was that? What have you done? What's your background?
In terms of
Before music, what was before music for you?
There was nothing before music for me. The reality is that as I moved on through my life, and music was always there, and it was always tugging. I mean, I was singing in church.
Okay.
And here's the story. I remember being in Washington Tabernacle Baptist Church, and my feet did not hit the wooden floor. Mm-hmm. And I remember they were singing those old Dr. Watts hymns.
Yeah.
And the people would take their foot and they would stomp on the floor to keep the beat of the music. Mm-hmm. And everyone in the church would be singing the hymn. And I remember sitting next to my mother in church and just kind of looking around and seeing, the people in the balcony in the church, being completely full. And I thought to myself, I'm like, and I'm a kid.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, whatever they're feeling, I feel that. And I wanted to know if what they were feeling was more intense than what I was feeling because I'm a kid. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking it has to be more for them because they're an adult and I'm just a kid.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure, but I knew one thing. I knew a couple of things. I knew that I wanted to sing along with them. I knew that I was feeling what they were feeling. And I knew that there was something greater and that this was a feeling that I wanted to continue in my life. And so the music has always been there. And it was only a couple of years later that once my feet did hit the floor, that I was pulled and selected to actually be a child singer in church.
Okay.
And so I say that to say that music was there from the very beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, people see you now as this artist and performer, and it's like, where has he been? He's new on the scene. You know what I mean?
Got it.
But like you say, it's always been there for you.
It's always been there for me.
So have you always, I know it's always been in your heart, but have you always, sung in school or, professionally or, like how has music shown up for you in your life?
Music has always been there from the beginning. I've been singing, but I was always afraid to sing before people. Music and singing for me was the salve to my own pain as a child. Mm-hmm. So you know how you rock a baby to sleep and you sing a lullaby? Mm-hmm. I sang my own lullabies as a kid.
To yourself?
To myself.
Wow.
I sang my own lullabies to myself as a kid. Not so much to sing for others, but I started singing for myself. I did not really want to sing for others. But I knew in my heart that one day I would, but I was not. I was afraid of that. I was kind of shy in a regard, but I knew that one day that I would. So, I sang my own lullabies, and so my own singing was soothing to me.
Yeah.
It was my own salve. And as a result, my family or people who were close to me, they would hear me singing to myself. And so it was common knowledge that I sang a lot. But when I was aware that they were listening, then I would stop because I didn't want them to hear it because it wasn't for them, it was for me. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think that still kind of holds true today.
Yeah. Well, when you do have a passion, you do have to have a relationship with it.
Yeah.
And it sounds like your relationship with music has evolved. You started off really loving music for what it was, the soothing, ability that it has, and the ability to affect a room and affect people's emotions. And you authentically felt that.
And it was therapeutic.
Yeah.
And it changed the atmosphere. And it healed me.
Yeah.
It healed me.
Yeah. Well, there are lots of people that have that relationship with music and love music. But they may not have the voice that others would encourage to share with the world. So what was that moment for you where you were encouraged to share that gift with others? You said, you kind of sang for yourself. So what was that moment where, that shift came?
There, in the early 70s, there was an iconic church musician, well-trained. His name was Lee Cochran, and he was a character.
Yeah, I remember Lee Cochran.
You remember Lee Cochran?
Remember
I was
him.
about maybe 8 years old, and I was afraid of Lee Cochran because he was such a dynamic character, and he spoke his mind, and anything that came in his heart, he came out of his mouth. Yeah. And he just said, "Hey, you, come here." And I thought, oh, no. And he thought, "You're going to sing a song." And I thought, "No, I'm not." And he said, "I know your mother. And if I say you're going to sing a song, you're going to sing a song." When he said my mother, I thought, okay, I better get to singing.
Yes, yes.
And so he took me and he worked with me, and he prepared me to get up and perform and to sing. And I did it. And the response, I'm 8 years old, and the response was obviously, it was positive, but I was a kid. I thought, am I done? And can I go and play? Can I, I did it. Yeah. You seemed happy. They seemed happy. Now I want to go outside and I want to play and I want to be a kid. And so, I think that he was the first person that not only saw something, but he took it and he did something with it. And he cultivated it. Yeah. And he put me out there to perform and had me singing on a radio broadcast at 8 years old. But I wanted to play. I wanted to play.
And so this was this gospel music?
This was gospel music.
Okay.
This was gospel music, yeah. But at home, we were listening to, David Ruffin.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to kind of get to. Yeah. How did your influences change? Because, growing up in the church, you typically do listen to those gospel artists, and sometimes you do have the opportunity to be exposed to different genres of music. Yeah. But a lot of families chose to just focus on that gospel genre.
Well, my mom and dad were pretty open. I mean, we had a really cool family. I mean, it's a large family. There are 8 of us. Yeah. And so, I mean, it was church every Sunday and choir rehearsal during the week and Bible study. But I mean, at home, my brother, we would do talent shows in our house. And he would take one of my grandmother's quilts, and that would be the curtain. He would open the quilt, and we would go in another room, and he would say, "Okay, you're going to come out, and you're going to do Grandma's hands, and I'm going to do a comedy routine. And at the end, we're going to do a big production number," because we would watch Flip Wilson and Carol Burnett and Sonny and Cher. So we would put on these productions once a week. So my brother began to cultivate and put me in the show. And so then you're listening to the Supremes, and you're listening to Sammy Davis Jr. and Michael Jackson. Yeah. And so, they were setting the stage. But that was all fun for me. Yeah. That was just fun, and that was every day in my home, And we did that for my mother and for my father. They would sit there and we would perform for mom and dad. Yeah. That was just family fun for me.
But little did you know that it was preparation for your purpose today. I mean, you're still performing on stage, incorporating different styles of music into your chosen genre now that you'll talk about.
Yeah, I think that somewhere deep inside, I think I knew that, but I think that it seemed so far-fetched for me. I thought that, I can't be Michael Jackson. I mean, Michael Jackson was a kid, and I thought, wow. And I thought I couldn't be Sammy Davis Jr., so I didn't see, and I couldn't be Dean Martin. I love Dean Martin.
For obvious reasons,
but I couldn't see, I knew on the inside, it was something that I wanted to do, but I thought I was just a kid and I wasn't sure what I could become. I wasn't sure what I could become.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like there wasn't one pivotal moment that was like that aha for you that said, or was there?
Well, there were two moments. There were two moments that really made me rethink. And the first moment was, and I talk about a lot of times when people are asking me this, I always tell them I was in preschool. This is a true story. I'm in preschool. I'm on the floor playing with my cars because I loved cars as a kid, and I still love cars today. And
You got some nice cars.
a Jerry Lewis movie was on. I wasn't paying attention, and I heard this voice, and it arrested me. And when I turned to look at the screen, Dean Martin was descending steps in a tuxedo. And I don't know if I said it verbally or if it was in my mind, but it was really loud. And I said, that's what I want to do. And that was a moment. And then I turned back around. I continued to play with my toys. But around 1977, I was doing chores and taking the trash out like a 10-year-old was supposed to do. And I heard a voice and it arrested me. And I hadn't been arrested like that since the Dean Martin moment. And it was the voice of Donna Summer.
Wow.
And I stopped in the backyard. I never made it to the alley. And I thought, what is that? And I just stood there frozen.
Yeah.
And it was Donna Summer. She was singing I Feel Love. And when I heard the song, I heard the voice. It sunk down into this 10-year-old kid. And I thought, take the trash out and run over 2 houses down there because they were having a barbecue in the backyard. And I'm like, get there before it goes off and ask them, who is that? What is that? Because whatever that is, I need that in my life because that's doing something to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I'm really just intrigued by how you've taken in music. I mean, especially talking about these these stages that you were in. I mean, the average 10-year-old doesn't stop in their tracks because they hear, Donna Summer or,
It's embarrassing.
Well, I mean, I get it, but it just speaks to how you perceive and take in the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And how that really was a part of your purpose before you even knew it. And the gift was cultivated. And now I can understand how, you, Robert Nelson today, how you sing with such passion and how you interpret the music so uniquely. Because you really do have a relationship and an appreciation for music. And you do that in a way that's different than a lot of, artists that I've heard.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean, but so it's sort of, music has been innate, it sounds like.
Yes.
That it's always, been a part of you.
Yes,
Yeah.
it has.
Yeah. So I'm wondering how jazz became your genre of choice.
There's nothing like jazz. There's nothing like it. I mean, I love all music. Let me be clear. I mean, I was the kid that on my block that I woke up in the morning, I might be listening to Billie Holiday in the summer at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then maybe Marvin Gaye by 11. And then by noon, I was listening to Eric B. and Rakim, And then from 1 o'clock to like 4 o'clock, it was Donna Summer.
Yeah.
And so I love all music, but jazz is unlike anything that I've heard. And if this would make sense, it touches me in different places in my soul and in my spirit outside of gospel music. Unlike anything that I've heard.
Yeah.
I think the emotion, I think the freedom and the liberties of jazz music, I think jazz music transports in a way that most quote unquote genres simply don't. And I think it just has a very special place in my heart. And I think that I'm married to it.
Yeah. It is an eclectic genre because it has sprinklings of, so many of the styles of music.
The other
that
music,
you
they
talked
are
about.
jazz music. But I'm going to say this too. I don't think I chose jazz music. I think jazz music chose me. If I had a choice, I would sing like Al Green and Marvin Gaye and Bobby Womack. You know, if I had a choice, I want to be a down, a gutsy soul singer. But I think that jazz chose me. And I think I feel most comfortable singing jazz. Now, I'll try. We do rhythm and jazz, and so we do. We acknowledge Marvin Gaye and a lot of those greats in much of what we do. But it's the jazz numbers where I'm most in my cocoon, in a safe space with jazz.
I love how you're expressing this because it really does help me understand how you approach music. I mean, you approach it with honor. You approach it with respect. You want to authentically interpret the music.
Absolutely.
I mean, you think about every aspect down to, how you should dress and the feel that you want the audience to have, when you're not just up there singing. So again, just hearing you express how intimately connected to music you are, it makes sense because it's very clear through your performances.
Well, the jazz greats have set a really high bar. And it really is an honor for me to sing jazz music. I don't think that everybody should just wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to sing jazz music. I think that there's a legacy. And I think that there are many of us who have been chosen and selected to continue this music. And this music is alive. This is not old music. This music is alive. When that music comes off the sheet and the band begins to play and the singer begins to sing, this is totally modern and totally current. And I think that I owe it to those composers, to the Cole Porters, to the Duke Ellingtons. I owe it to them to bring that music in 2020 the way they intended for it. And they're expecting me to interject who I am and my experiences. So I don't take it lightly. And so that's kind of intimidating because many times you wonder, hey, jazz greats, I need you because I'm getting ready to go before the people and I can't serve them up just anything. I really need your support. And so it's very intimidating. And not to get too serious, but I don't take it lightly.
Yeah, and that comes across to your audience. I mean, I've been in audiences where you have been performing, and I mean, the audience is first of all in tune with you. They are on the same journey, with you. And
they're good to me.
they love you.
I love
you. They
them.
appreciate, what you're sharing. It doesn't come across as just another performance. It doesn't come across even as entertainment. It comes across as an experience. And I've heard people say that, leaving your shows. Wow. So, what you're feeling is not just in you, it's coming out of you. And
That's
so for that,
know.
we appreciate you as an artist.